Do you need $1 million to retire? That is the question that we are asking today. I'm Annette Rose. I am a women's money coach, and I help women who are 45 plus get back in control of their money. So $1 million is often quoted as the amount that you need to have to retire comfortably. The problem with that number is that it is a generalized number. When you think about it, we are all completely different. Our circumstances are completely different. So if your situation is unique, then having somebody tell you what you need that is a number that you don't understand is not all that helpful. When we're thinking about how much we need for retirement, we really have to be thinking about what are the biggest costs that we're going to have in retirement, and what kind of a life is it that we want to be living? Because if we don't know the numbers and we don't know how much we need to retire, we could end up living a very miserable 35 years. I don't know about you, but that isn't how I want to live in retirement. I do want to be comfortable. I do want to have enough money for treats and extras, travels and adventures. So let's think about our biggest costs in retirement. Housing is by far and away the biggest cost that we will have. And when I say housing is the biggest cost we will have, what I really mean by that is if you do not own a property outright, at the point at which you come to retire, that is where those costs can be very, very damaging to the kind of lifestyle that you want to live in retirement. After housing, we've got food, utilities, and medical costs. As we get older, those medical costs are absolutely going to go up. So when we think about the fact that median super, so I'm recording this in Australia, so when I say superannuation, you might need to replace that with the pension. If you're in the UK, you might be talking about a 401k if you're in the US. But in Australia, our mandatory saving pension fund is called superannuation. So the median super for a single woman with 2 children is around $163,000. Now, I'm going to break down some numbers for you. So let's say that right now, today, you are 45 and you are earning a modest salary of $60,000, and you can conceivably think that you would be earning that until your age of retirement. And let's say that that age of retirement is 65. Okay, right now today, things have not been going great. You've only got $30,000 in your super. But what you do have is you have some time. So if you're retiring at 65, you still have 20 years to leverage the power of compound interest to be able to increase that fund using the 12% mandatory contribution from your employer to grow that fund to around $213,000. Okay, so that's a lot of heavy lifting being done by compound interest. Fantastic. What that would then mean is that you would have $6,390 a year if you had invested that $213,000 to get a modest return of just 3%. That is how your superannuation works. That would give you a per month number of about $532.50 to live on. If you're thinking that does not sound like very much, then you are absolutely correct. $132.50 a month isn't a lot to live on. But on the bright side of things, as it stands today in 2026, we do have a government age pension. As a single person, you could expect in today's terms, we're not taking into account the future rate of money, any of those things like inflation. We're just saying that today that pension would pay you $2,600 approximately per month. So that plus your super is going to increase your monthly amount to $3,132.50. That's starting to sound a little bit better. But hold on a minute. If you don't own a house outright, so you may still be paying down a mortgage, or you may be planning to rent a property in your retirement, in today's terms, that type of housing for a single person, let's say it's a 2-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, could be expected to cost you around $600 a week. So if we're taking $2,400 a month out of that monthly amount of $3,132.50, That's going to leave you just $732 a month or $183 a week to cover all of those other costs. That's your food, your utilities, your medical costs, your insurance, and any transport needs that you have. Now, that is the reality as it stands at the moment, and that is what is on the line. When you are in your 40s and you do not understand how superannuation works, you do not understand what you need to be doing over the next 20 years, I really want to implore you to start looking into this now. It is really important. Okay, so if you want to take control, what's really good news is I have a community which is called the Women's Money Success Club. It is free to join the community. It is for women 45 plus. So if you are interested in that, there is a link in the show notes for you to be able to find out more. As I say, join the community for free. I really hope that you are feeling inspired to take some action on your retirement investments and savings. And if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget, like and subscribe. See you soon.